chicken patties.
It's really cute shirt.
This looks really dumpy on me.
No, it's just too big. Tie it off from the back. That's what the girls do.
Make me look snatched. That was fast. You did that really fast. I tried to do it in the front wow.
Look how much better that looks.
Snatched.
Looks better?
Mhm.
You feel better? I just want to say I need to color my hair. That's all.
God, so do I. Look. It's awful. It's awful.
Yours is not bad, but look at this business.
Jennifer, I have gray. I didn't know I had gray. Last time I was at my girl, she told me I have gray, and I'm horrible.
You have a little gray.
And then she put this red shit in my hair that I hated, and I was supposed to go back and get it washed out, but I didn't. But now oh, God.
I love your hair.
Like 12 tones of color going
I love
on.
it. Look at this whiteness.
Yeah, well, I have it too. It's just my hair is blonde, so you can't see it.
Huh.
It makes your hair shine.
Well, I took a shower. I'm like, wait.
It's a special day at 2 in the closet.
Yeah, I couldn't go another day without not washing my hair.
You guys, give her some love and appreciation for
Very
not
clean.
stinking up my closet.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
On today's episode of 2 in the Closet, we're clearly back in the closet.
Yes.
And we are going to take on a sensitive subject that people don't always love to talk about.
I certainly don't.
What is it?
Death.
Yes, death. Because we're all going there, right?
No stopping it.
No stopping it. Now, the question is, do you prepare for it, or do you go as there's a phrase or a joke about sliding into the grave,
Just no plan.
Sliding in, no plan, last minute, great corpse, die young, have a beautiful corpse. We're too late for that.
Yes. Or
we're still look good, but
yeah, well, you never know.
But that, but so do you do it that way, or are you very calculated and prepared and planned? So that's what we're going to talk about on 2 in the Closet today. I'm Beth.
I'm Jennifer.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So we are 2 in the Closet, and we are going to talk about the thing that,
the D.
It's not the most favorite thing to do, but I think it's necessary.
I agree. Yes. Not the dick.
Not dick. Not the other word, which was what she would prefer to talk about.
Yes.
But
you know me so well.
Death has been celebrated, mourned, ceremonialized through the ages.
Yes.
I always go back to Egypt because I have an affinity for Egypt. I've been there and I love it. But, they mummified people.
That's really cool.
Yeah. They
wrapped them up like mummies.
Well, they were the mummies.
That's true.
Like mummies, they were mummies.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, or it's not really cool, but what they believed is that you needed your possessions in the afterlife, so that you would get buried with
your stuff,
with your gold, and sometimes your pets and things like that. King Tut, he was 16 years old or something when he died, but he's, those exhibits that go around the country are full of gold and jewels and all this stuff. And those things were buried in his tomb. So they were very serious about making sure you had what you needed.
They sure were.
When you got over there. And the Greeks, they would put a coin in the mouth of the deceased when they buried them for passage over the river Styx, which is into the afterworld.
Don't have to worry about choking.
No, not anymore. And, fun fact, Styx is not just a 70s hairband.
No, it's not.
Were they a hairband? I don't know. In the 19th century, we started having elaborate funerals. I remember, I think when my grandmother passed,
did a fancy
put her casket in the living room of the house.
Really?
They didn't put him in a funeral home.
Oh wow!
There was
very personal.
Time. Yeah, because I think it's important when somebody passes is that you just don't shove them off to the morgue or whatever. You spend time with their body as they're acclimating, but that's a spiritual thing.
Yeah. Well, now I know that people do put things in with their loved ones.
Yeah. Little things, but probably not like
no.
But
I know there's right.
Yeah,
like a little something
and
special.
Now, in the 21st century, we can do all sorts of cool things, like be buried in pods and have a tree sprout out from
I'm
our
I'm
remains.
into being a tree.
I would love to be part of the
Yeah,
forest.
I'm into that. I
Yeah,
think I'm into that.
you can get shot into space. You can have your ashes put out into the
The space, then do you come back down or you just what happened?
acid rain, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not
Or now that I'm thinking about, do they put you in like in a cylinder
oh, and
and
then shoot
shoot
you
that
back
at,
up?
like, so you're part of, like, you might be able to find it on
Oh, and then
that
you might just be
sky
floating?
map app that shows you where all the satellites are. Oh, and there's Jennifer's
Bullet.
remains. Going.
I'm in a
I don't
bullet.
know. I don't know if
That's
I
cool.
yeah, it probably makes more sense to shoot space trash. Oh, you become space trash.
Yeah, I'm not
Nothing says I love you and I mourn you like shooting you into the atmosphere,
yeah, I don't
and then you're part of space garbage. That's true.
I don't need to go to space.
What about cryo? What about having your head chopped off, frozen?
I would like to be intact.
I cannot even think about
Yeah,
somebody chopping off my head and freezing it, and then
putting another
somehow 1,000 years from now reanimating me on the
no.
body of God knows who. I just think that would be weird for my head because I would look down and that wouldn't be
Yeah,
the me that I know.
no. There's only one
Plus,
of us.
yeah, plus I don't want my no,
There's a lot of
no,
art I don't know even how that would work, but
I don't know. I don't even think it does work, but I
yeah,
think
I
there are some
don't
people that think
I like the
or maybe
plants.
it's like when they the sci-fi movies when you, go out into space and you're headed to Mars or whatever, and you have to be, deanimated or whatever, you're put, like, in a pod with l some kind of gooey liquid, and you sleep for 5 years or however long.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe that's what cryo is now, I don't know.
yeah, and then you
I
wake
just know
up
I don't
and you're
want
in
it.
gook.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you believe about what happens when you die?
Well, I believe our body is here. I mean, I know it decomposes. Is that the right
Mhm.
word? Decompose? But I do believe that our soul and our spirit goes somewhere else. I always picture um just people passing, just like kind of floating around, watching, being where they need to be, or maybe leaving off where what they didn't do that they wanted to do.
Mhm. Is that a haunting? That sounds like a haunting.
Yeah, I don't mean hunting, but I just feel like
Like, I was in the middle of painting when I died, and so I'm gonna be painting and
yeah,
living.
no, I just think, if there's unfinished business,
Yeah, I understand. I'm being
so
funny.
yeah,
That
no,
was
no,
fun.
no.
That was an attempt at
No,
humor. I won't try it again.
I appreciate it. So I definitely think our spirit and our higher being
Yeah.
goes somewhere else. What about you? What do you believe?
I think so too. I think we are everybody, everything is energy, and I believe that we are energy. And there's a tiny, tiny part of us that is so dense and slows down that no, I know.
Mm,
That that's what the human physicality of us is. But there's imagine an ice cream cone, those triangular cones, like
I like those.
that little tip down there is your human body. The rest of you
Okay.
and all the scoops
Stuff.
of ice cream on top, that's what you really are. But
You're saying we're
vibration
not physical. It's just a
it's
small
just a
part of it.
tiny part of us. And so the only way you see matter, microphone,
Right.
table, whatever, is for that vibration to slow down and become slow enough that we can see it. That's woo woo, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
I
interesting.
and I was raised in the pearly gates religion in the streets of gold. And I
There you go.
remember
There or there.
I always looking up. And the first time I
Always
ever
looking
went on
down.
a
That's a good
plane,
one. Just kidding.
that answers your belief about hell.
No, no, no. I'm just kidding.
No, so, uh, on my first plane ride in 10th grade, I was, flying above the clouds and looking for pearly gates and golden streets and wondered how they stayed up there on those fluffy clouds. So I had a very literal belief
Yeah.
or understanding about it. But now I just believe that we are energy. We go back into energy and we're kind of like omnipresent. We're
Right.
everywhere. we're
everywhere.
part of that energetic field that doesn't have any boundaries or limitations to begin with.
Right.
So you could be 12 places at once if you wanted to.
That's true. That's
You could
true.
be everywhere and nowhere. But that's how I believe. And I think that tunnel that
The
people,
white light, the
yeah,
beautiful white light.
it to me, in my mind, I see it as obelisk crystals of different pastel colors, like mostly rose quartz, but amethyst,
I see light
beautiful.
colors too.
Yeah, just beautiful color. And I don't believe that, like, when I cross over, I'm going to see my mother, right, in her physical form at 80 or whatever she was when she passed away. I think I'm going to see her essence and her energy. And that energy is that pink love.
Okay, so you don't think you physically see.
I don't think so. I think the mind wants to make it material,
Right, because in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, wait, what do you actually, like, see your dad or your friend, and you, like, could hug them literally?" I mean,
Yeah.
you wonder.
I think it's energetic. I
Right,
think that your mind is gonna process it as, "Oh, that's my dad, that's my
right,
mom."
because you
But
know their energy.
yeah, but I think it's more of an energy thing
That's
that
really
we connect
interesting.
to.
It's really interesting.
Some people believe nothing happens, and I'm surprised because my friends that are Jewish, and you're Jewish, um, they there's nothing after death.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was brought up where we didn't really talk about, death. I mean, it was just
Mhm.
not talked about, so I'm kind of learning now, I'm not 20, but I'm saying it's really something that you think about as you
What does being 20 have to do with it?
I don't know. I guess you just have to think about these things. I
Well,
mean,
you do. And
you could choose not to, but I think it's
yeah.
important
Well,
that.
that's why we're doing this. So it gives
Exactly.
you a lighthearted look, hopefully, that
Just getting
you can
situated.
you can sort of pick and choose what you vibe with.
Right, exactly.
So supernatural things, when people pass away and they give us signs,
Yes.
what's your dad's sign for you?
Well, I actually have 2. Um, well, actually I have 3. The first one is I went to a medium, probably 6 months after his passing. My sister arranged it, and I cried all the time, like, daily, and I think I walked into this place crying because I knew he would be brought up, and what his message was to me is, "I don't want you crying until you're 80 years old, Jennifer." And my dad was very funny, very funny. Whoever has known my dad, very funny, always making jokes. And I think that was his way of being like, "Jennifer, it's okay. Don't
Mhm.
freak out. I'm okay."
And
Y
good news, you're gonna live to at least 80.
Exactly, exactly. So, that was one.
Bonus message.
Exactly. Another one, um, was, another medium said that your dad, very funny, but he leaves coins in different places. So when I'm at work, I'll see a coin on the floor, I'll see it in a drawer, I'll see it random places.
Do you pick
All right.
them up?
I don't, because I feel like I'm at work. Am I stealing?
If your dad dropped a coin for you, it's for you.
Right. But
It's not for anybody else.
right. But people do lose loose change at work because they're like kind of sitting down, laying down. Anyway, it makes me laugh and it gives me a little giggle because
Yeah.
and they're in such weird places, and when I kind of need that lift, I'll see a coin and I'm like,
There's this
"There he is again."
Yeah, there's this little book called God Winks, and a girlfriend of mine gave it to me a few years ago. It's the sweetest book. It's about things like that. Little ways that our loved ones that have passed have a way of letting us know that they're
Right,
near,
right,
right?
yes.
You hear like lights flickering, things like that, but really personal things, which is super cute.
And I knew, like, that's his way of being funny,
Yeah. Yeah.
is leaving coins. And another, this is interesting, but
He's not making fun of your financial situation, is he?
no, 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 no.
Actually, you say he's funny, and I'm like, "Shit, is he mocking her?"
Yeah, no. Maybe, but I don't think so. Um, he had a Prius and I took over his lease
Mhm.
when he passed because I needed a car. And I was in the Prius and I was in the car with my mom. She was in town and we went into the car and I put the radio on and it said call Jennifer in my dad's voice. And he passed and I freaked out. My parents were divorced, but my mom was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I was hysterical crying. I said, that's it. I have to get rid of this car. I went to Toyota and I got a newer car.
Why?
Why? Well, number one, the lease was up. I mean, it was time, but also I was so freaked out. This was like in the beginning of like
Yeah.
more of the beginning of his passing. And I just was like, I heard him. Like he was I
Yeah.
hadn't heard his voice, but I wasn't, I was younger. I mean, not like so young, but like I didn't
You didn't know how to process
understand,
it.
no. So, but I heard his voice and it was so beautiful and so heart-wrenching that I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And I had to get a different car.
If it happened today, would you be different? Would you
100%.
feel different about it and keep the car?
I think I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it was time to get rid of the car
Anyway.
anyway, but
Yeah.
it was very dramatic. It's
Yeah.
traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Dramatic, yeah. Because I heard his voice and it
Yeah.
was like I felt like also looking back, it was a sign
Yeah.
that
Well,
he was saying
100%.
right, but I didn't know that then.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom is like, What's going on? I'm in my own world.
Right.
Oh my God, oh my God." Um,
As her mom will do.
yeah. So
So you made me think of a funny story when my friend Charlie passed away. He was married, and I didn't really know her that well, but we wanted to get together a couple of months or so after he passed. So we made arrangements to meet in the marina. And I had her phone number as her name in my phone, and I had his phone number as his name. Well, she called me from her phone to let me know that she was about 10 minutes away from the meeting restaurant, and when I looked at the phone, it said, "Maybe Charlie." And I
it's like
and I
someone
showed it to her, I'm like, the accounts weren't linked or anything, there's no reason why this should have popped
wow.
up on her contact in my phone, and I just thought, "He's smiling down on us, he
Oh,
knows
I
that we're
love
meeting,"
that.
and I love that. I So we both took it like that.
I
Uh,
love that.
you talk about your dad. My dad had a one time, only one time after his passing, and he passed when I was 19. Uh, and I had a girlfriend come over one evening. We were just catching up, talking around my dining room table. We didn't drink, we didn't have anything. And she left. And when I went to bed, I had seemed like an all night long dream about my dad. Super vivid. I have vivid dreams anyway, but this was off the
Extra.
chain. It was like we were there together in that dream. And I got up around 4 or 5 in the morning to go to the bathroom, and when I sat down, I went all the way down because the seat was up. What is it? Who puts a seat up?
Men
Men. Yeah.
and
And
little
the
boys.
friend that was at my house was a female. I live alone, so the only reason I'm putting a seat up is so that I can throw up. And I definitely did not throw up that night.
So there was only one.
Yeah, and it was because I have a lot of experiences with my mom since she passed.
Right,
She passed a lot of years after him, but I was closer to her growing up, and we had more years together.
right,
So
right.
when I think of parents, I first think of my mom. But this was his way of saying, "What about me? I'm over
I'm
here.
important too.
I had a part in your existence or
Right,
whatever."
right.
And then my mom, when my
That's
mom
funny.
passed
That's
away,
funny.
yeah, but I just thought, "Okay," and I knew because I was still kinda in that dream walking to the restroom and then startled awake, like, "Woo!" Okay. But my mom, when she passed away, I was out of the country, and then after everything was done and I came back and the will arrived FedEx to me. And that was the day that it really dawned on me,
Wow.
because she lived in a different state. So it wasn't like I saw her every day, and I definitely didn't talk to her every day. So out of sight, out of mind, I hadn't really wrapped around the idea that she was dead, right? And when that will arrived and I saw her name and the date and everything, it made it very concrete and real. And I had a CD player, this is back in the day, and it had 5 or 6 CDs that you could load, and
Yeah.
then you shuffle, so you have hours of endless
Yes, I
music.
remember that.
Yeah, and, my recent ex-boyfriend was a music producer, and he had produced a Christian album with Bill Medley of the Righteous Brothers, and my mom had actually written, not a dedication, but a review of the album,
Mhm.
and it's on the jacket of the album. I'm just not
Wow,
remembering, or
that's cool.
the case of the CD, not an album. So I had all these CDs, 6 CDs, 5 or 6 loaded into the thing, and I had it on random shuffle. And the very first song is a song off of that Bill Medley album, which is entitled Going Home. It's the name of the song and the name of the album.
Wow.
And in the lyrics of the song, he's talking about this woman with her son and daughter at her side as she is making her transition and passing. And as they are mourning her, she is saying to them, I'm going home. I'm going home. And it's a beautiful, if you know Bill Medley's voice, it's a gorgeous song. But that's my mom. My
Wow,
mom
that's
who
really
wrote the
beautiful.
thing for the album cover, the jacket cover, case, whatever the fuck it was. And that specific song, there's no other song like that on his album. And the rest of the CDs were all, music, current music that I love. So it was crazy. And then, Taylor, my
Yes.
cat, my
Oh, sorry.
18-year-old cat passed away almost a year ago, and she would sit outside my bedroom and look into a big mirror that's across the hallway, and I would see her from the living room. So we kind of make eye contact onto the mirror. And for 2 or 3 months after she passed,
You would see
every
it.
night I would see her, and I could just see like this dark shadow come out from the bedroom. She was a dark colored cat, so it wasn't like dark energy, but I literally could see her. And I
Wow.
think the thing about being able to see and hear, right? Or feel them around you, some people get physical sensations, is it's vibration again. We're energy, and
We're made of
the
energy.
dense part of us, the body, vibrates at a much lower frequency than the rest
Up
of that
there.
ice cream cone that I talked
Right,
about, right?
right.
The top scoop. So all of that is moving super, super fast, so it's invisible. And when we are in grief and mourning, our vibration is even lower and heavier
Interesting.
and denser. But as we move up those
We
vibrations and we get into joy and gratitude and love and happiness and all of that, we are lighter beings,
right.
literally. And then it's easier for them to match our frequency, and you see them or you hear them or you feel them.
That's really interesting because you don't think about that. I mean, I
I
know,
do.
right,
Yeah,
but I don't, so it's a
yeah.
learning.
But I know that those moments, you can't do this in grief. You can never really contact somebody when you're in grief, because they can't
Right,
lower their vibration,
right, right.
right? So,
Nor do they maybe not want to.
well, why would they? They've been
Right,
to
right,
Nirvana. Why the
right,
hell would they want to
exactly.
come back here? Um,
Well, fuck.
we did have a couple of comments from our listeners. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
About some
these were really beautiful.
supernatural things that have happened to them. I have a married couple friends, and they had a son who passed away 3 or 4 years ago, and I think it was under fairly tragic, um, maybe self-inflicted. I don't really know, and I don't want to misspeak, but it was very
Not
sad.
pleasant.
And my husband and wife friends, she has been holding some resentment toward her husband because apparently he didn't go to the service of the son. And so it's been kind of an unforgiveness thing
I
stuck
get
in
it.
her craw. and a little bit of resentment. So they were traveling and she was exhausted, and this is another thing. When you're really, really exhausted is another time because you're starting to go into
Yep.
those higher vibrations. So it's easier to hear waking up and going to sleep. It's maybe not a dream. But
True.
she put her head down on the pillow and she heard, "It's time, Mom." And she kind of listened a little bit more, and she knew that voice, and it said, and the voice continued, "It really is okay that Bob didn't come to my funeral." And she said it was interesting that he used that word. So I don't know what his belief was. Um,
Wow.
and then she laid back down and she said, "Okay, I forgive," and let that all go. And she says the most important part of this is that her spouse had a significant brain bleed, and this was not too terribly long ago.
Mm.
And when he was suffering, I think he had a really, really bad headache, and she wanted to call 911, and he was telling her not to, that it was okay. And because she said, if I hadn't done that forgiveness and resentment
He might not have.
work, I might have listened to him and said, fine, because whatever, I'm not
Right.
going to help you.
Right. Right.
You don't want to help, fine.
Right.
I can see me doing that, not her. but
Right.
but to just kind of blow it off because he's blowing it off. But because she had forgiven him and that resentment was gone, she believed that their son actually did save his life.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
which is
agree
what a gift. And then I had another friend who was a mentee of a spiritual, uh, what's the word? I mean, he talked to the dead, medium.
medium.
Yeah. And very, very highly well-respected gentleman. And when he was making his transition, he'd been sick for a long time. My friend actually went and stayed with him, lived with him,
Oh, wow.
and was there when he passed. And then the pandemic hit, and my friend was homeless and broke, and the other gentleman had passed, and he's like, I demanded that he find me some cold hard cash, that he help me with some cold hard cash. I need real money, not chump change.
Chump change.
And 3 days later, I discovered $4,500 in $100 bills in a file cabinet I had purchased for $10 on OfferUp while living with him.
Wow.
Check your furniture that you get on OfferUp.
I found an pillow for my grandmother
Mhm.
when I was financial struggling, and there was a gold diamond watch.
Wow.
I sold it.
Well, yeah,
I got like $1,000 for it.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so look in the pillows.
Look in the pillows.
Yeah.
Did you have to, like, tear it apart? Was it in the
No,
stuffing?
it was like,
Just oh, wow.
yeah. I mean, it was inside the pillow. It was like a
Yeah.
little square pillow. It
Mm.
was like in the lining.
I wonder what other pillows she had that had
I
shit in
know,
'em.
right?
God, hindsight, man.
I know.
Then I had another friend who was from high school who she and her sister were, I think, just a year apart. And this was a year after we graduated high school. And her sister, which would have been out of school for 2 years or so,
Mm.
her car was struck by a suspect in a high-speed police chase,
Mm.
and she died. And my friend found out the day before her birthday at midnight, when her parents called her, and she was freaked out. Her boyfriend was driving her over to her parents' house, and she heard, I'm okay. It's okay." And she looked at her boyfriend and she
Wow.
said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "No, I didn't." And she was really, really worried that if she had said more, that her parents would have got her into a psych
Right,
eval.
right.
But the exact words, "Don't worry, I'm okay."
That's nice.
I know.
That
And then her dad, when a few days later, he was talking to her mom and dad, and her mom was talking about how her dad hadn't been sleeping very well for the past 3 nights because he kept waking up to his daughter's voice saying, "It's okay, Dad. I'm okay."
wow. Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
So our love transcends, right?
I agree.
And it doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be an awful thing. I'm a big preparer. You
Yes,
know me.
you are. She's a planner and she's a controller.
I'm a control freak. I'm a planner.
She's
But I also know that after the 84 earthquake here in California, I immediately stocked up my boyfriend's house, my house, both of our cars with emergency.
Well, I think that's important.
Yeah, but I think we didn't have that. I remember when that earthquake hit, I was scanning the pantry in my brain. I mean, we had a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese and I think a thing of tomato sauce. So we didn't have any food in our house if we couldn't have left. But once I got those earthquake kits and I continue to do that today, then I don't worry about it. I know if something happens. I know there's water in, I know there's a first aid kit, there's rope, there's gloves, whatever. I don't have to
Right.
stress about it. So same is true end of life because it's a little bit different than, you're trapped in your home for a few days. It's like you're gone and you're left, you're leaving your loved one
Right.
holding the bag for whatever.
It's good to have.
Yeah. So having
Some-
practical prep, and hopefully this is light enough that,
Yes.
it doesn't have to get weird. But I have a book called When I Die, and it's actually a vault that I bought on TikTok that is a box. It's about this thick and it holds all sorts of things. There's drawers in it. You can put keys or keepsakes in it. There's labels that you can customize for, okay, these are my insurance policies. This is my investments, blah, blah, blah. You can customize it however you want. But it's really called an end of life book. Keeping a folder on the desktop of your computer called When I Die. If somebody has access to your computer after you pass, it can all be digital on there.
Wow.
And they know that that's what's in that folder because it's pretty clear. And leave it on your desktop. So another really easy way. But in this book or this storage, whatever you do, all of your accounts, not just where your money is, but your utilities. Your loved ones have to turn off your utilities when you go.
You don't even think about that.
Yeah. And if they don't have access and they don't have power of attorney,
There's something you
they
can
can't
do.
do that,
Right.
right? So accounts, logins, all of your policies and passwords, your will, your trust,
Shit.
your power of attorney, your medical director.
I don't have any of
I
that.
don't either, but it's in my head.
Right. No, mine too. But
Still working on that medical directive because I'm not really sure about. I mean, I know what I don't want, but I
Right.
don't want to be premature if I could make use of my life. Anyway,
right. That makes sense.
planning your service. When I went through spiritual counselor training, we actually had to do that. We had to plan a service and hold it.
Yeah.
So, and I could not find it today, but I still have the brochure with all the readings and the people that are speaking
Wow.
and the music. But we had to do this, and I just thought of this. It was really funny. So one of my classmates asked me to read her eulogy at her service. So I said, okay. And we held these in a facility. So we were holding like 15-minute memorials. They had to be pretty quick. So we were rotating through all these services.
This is hilarious.
So I can't believe I have this at the ready because I did not plan to mention this. So I'm reading her eulogy in front of this small group of people. And, they usually have a big picture of the person, right? So,
Yeah.
so Rebecca just sat poised in one position with a picture frame.
Oh my God. I can't. That is hilarious.
For the whole time
That is
that I
hilarious.
read it. And I'm just like,
That is so funny.
and
That must have been really surreal.
it is because
Yeah.
you really tap into your mortality and you realize that I would rather have it laid out so people didn't have to stress about that shit.
Right.
I mean, hopefully they're mourning me deeply. So I don't want to
Right.
add to that by, can you figure out how to get my medicine account?
You
service?
you are a planner.
I know. Photos. Colin has a little bit of something to say about that. Yeah, what happens to your pets if you die, right?
No, they
So photos.
totally
This
good
is super
questions.
important because at memorial celebrations of life when at the
Yes.
carousel of your happy
Yeah.
memories, right? So if you don't do this for yourself, somebody that is spiting and spiteful
is gonna
might do it for you. And it might not
Exactly.
be the photos you would like the world to see. I'm not saying they'd be nude, but they might be
They might be close.
the really unflattering outtakes.
Right.
You know, it's
With,
like
like,
when
the
we
50
take a
chin?
selfie, we
Yeah.
take 10 pictures,
You have to
right?
go like that because I don't want
Yeah. I took a horrific shot this morning that is still on my phone of me in the cuddle puddle with the kittens in bed, and my chin looked like I was a puffer fish.
Yeah, you don't want that all you don't want that, where everyone could see.
Oh, no. So pick the photos. Pick the ones
No,
that
this
you would
is
love.
no, that's a great idea.
That's fun. I've done that. It's
That you
fun.
listen, all the stuff that you have prepared for, I think it's definitely, helpful because I have done nothing.
Well, I'm helping you here.
You are.
I'm inspiring you.
Yes.
And this will be recorded for posterity's sake, we hope.
Yeah, we technically
We
were
might be on the second round.
yeah.
Share your wishes, your beliefs, your values with the people that you love, because they're the ones that are going to be, if you don't plan it for yourself, they will be the ones planning your service. So you don't want a Buddhist service if you are a Catholic, or
Right.
vice versa, or whatever.
Right.
If you don't use the word God, you use spirit, life, universe, whatever, and you pray a different way than one of your friends.
You want it
If
to
you want
feel
it to be
right.
yours.
Right.
It's your of your life. It's a celebration of your life. So that's important. I love this because I have started this in the past couple of years. Letters to loved ones.
Yes.
And
I have not done that, but I'm
that way people know how you felt about them.
yeah. Well, that's why it's important to say it while you guys are still here.
For sure.
While we're all still here.
Yeah,
Not
but
you
if
guys.
you have, mine are loving
Yeah.
memories that I want you to know that I remembered and held with high regard.
Right,
I
right.
want you to know how much I loved our time together.
Right.
Right.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
I do.
And there's only one that's not that kind of vibe. And, there was some wrongs that have been forgiven, but I just needed to say, this is why. This is why.
Right.
These are the reasons
That
why
makes sense.
this situation didn't work out.
I think that's really beautiful.
Access to all of your social medias. So
Yeah.
you do not want that falling into the wrong hands and posting nudies. Jennifer,
I know, right? Also,
you would do that to be funny.
right?
Erase the search history.
Well,
Wipe it. Clean the drive.
you don't
Run a drill through it.
right, you don't want your dirty laundry
No.
out to the world.
But seriously, on Facebook, you can designate another Facebook account to manage your account.
Did you do that?
I did. Is it
Lisa?
you?
No. I don't take offense, people. Lisa's
We're
very
gonna put that on you.
no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, our engineer is
I know.
tweaking some sound. So preparing is really an act of love
Yes. And it
toward the
doesn't have
people-
to be
toward the
scary.
people you love. Yeah. I wrote, because we were going to be talking about this, I did go back and start reviewing my memorial. I don't have my living will or trust or anything, but
you have the other
God damn
stuff.
it, I'll tell you what songs you'll be singing
She's a control freak.
to the end.
Yeah, to the end.
But it started
That's
out,
why we love her.
started out to be a poem. In my mind, I was going to write some prose, right? And then it became a revision to what I want someone to read. Because again, what you think were the highlights of your life that you would want eulogized, or the achievements or whatever, might not be what the people around you think. Like, they may have a whole different perspective of what the highlights of your life were.
Right.
So if you want to be clear about how you want your life represented, then
Write it down.
write 3 pages. No.
I have not written a eulogy, so you will not hear one from
I
me.
didn't mean for it to be this long, but then I realized I wanted to talk about the things, but I want it to be lighthearted.
Yeah.
Because I want you guys to fucking go out there and tear it up when I'm gone.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to read a couple parts of it. First and foremost, before I even enter the room. Oh, wait, let me start over. I didn't read the title.
Oh, yeah, I got to get the title.
Remember me for, first and foremost, before I even enter the room, my laugh. Uncontained, unfiltered, and occasionally alarming to small children and skittish adults. If I had been able to bottle it, you'd all be sipping cocktails in the Maldives right now.
Sounds wonderful.
Remember me laughing. I know he's not hurting anything.
Okay.
Remember me laughing at stand-up comedy, my own jokes, your awkward moments, and pretty much everything in between. My laughs, unlike my fucks, were never ending. I wrote that and I made myself laugh.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I absolutely love it.
I wrote it, and then when I woke up the next morning, I'm like, oh God, I wrote that. Is it going to be awful? So I went back, another little piece. Sure, life was a roller coaster, but exiting, holy warp speed, Technicolor light tunnel Batman. If I'd still had a body, I'd have absolutely shat myself. I love the humor. I love being able to use the word shat.
Shat? I don't think I've ever used that word, but I guess this is very appropriate. I love that you did that. And
yeah,
you're making me even think even more. Maybe I need to start getting the stationery out.
Yeah, it's just a nice
stationery. That's a word from the past. Yeah, it is a weird word.
But yeah,
thank you for sharing. That was really beautiful.
I want to make it easy because hopefully, the people around me that profess to love me now will be deeply grieving upon my passing.
Yes, of course.
Weeks and months and years.
Of course.
I don't want them to have to deal with the
the other stuff.
I want them to tend to their mourning.
Well, I think people honestly don't, for me, like, I don't think about it because I just don't. But I think it's good. I think
you don't want to leave this on your family.
No. And I think that's why it's good to,
what you think is important about your life might be different.
And there's and I don't think there's a right answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer.
You want it.
Exactly.
It's not about right and wrong.
Right. Exactly.
It's about how do you want to be represented.
Exactly. And remembered.
Yeah. But we're going to leave this on a lighter note. We have some quotes. Yeah.
Yes, they're funny quotes.
I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens. I like that. I'm not a big Woody Allen fan, but he said it and I love that.
I intend to live forever or die trying. Like that one.
Groucho Marx. We're going way back for this shit right here. Robin Williams. Nature is death. Death is nature's way. Wait, I would never make it in stand-up comedy. Death is nature's way of saying your table is ready.
I like that one. This one, I think we could all. Death, it's the ultimate way to lose weight.
Oh, it's nature's Ozempic. Permanent Ozempic.
Exactly.
I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather, not screaming and yelling like the passengers in his car.
That's hilarious.
Which is kind of weird because my grandfather did die in a car accident with passengers.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
That's weird. It's just a weird kawinky ding.
It is
that's
weird.
a little God wink from a grandfather.
Yeah,
I
think so.
Yeah. This is a mantra that should probably be tattooed on my body somewhere. If I die suddenly, please someone erase my browser history, toss out the expired coupons, and tell everyone my house is usually cleaner.
I know. You never know what you could find in people's homes.
I know. That's another thing. Like,
hide shit.
No, because you're dead. They're going to find it.
Right, but I'm saying
burn it.
Right.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, because then guess what? Because I've seen on movies when you're left with something so, you find something crazy out or something, it's like it destroys you. So
yeah.
I know it's the movies.
Family somewhere, get rid of that shit.
Exactly.
Anyway, I hope this has been lighthearted enough and yet serious.
Yes.
Point.
Yes.
That's what we try to do here at Two in the Closet. And we know you have a lot of choices of podcasts you can listen to.
There's a lot.
For God's sake, Michelle Obama.
I know. We cannot compete with that.
Not even close.
No, we're not.
But we're here for the people that we belong to.
Right.
So
enjoy.
Yeah. If you're listening, we super, super appreciate it. Share it with your friends. For now, this is Beth.
Jennifer.
And this is Two in the Closet. And until next time, stay alive till next time. Okay?
Exactly. Be safe. And any comments, concerns.
Two in the Closet is love, no complaints.